We sort of jumped to defend Russell Brand or whoever else. How do you feel about sort of Huw Edwards? You jumped to defend him.
I did. I mean, no one's perfect, but it was a definite error on my part. But I mean, I get a lot of shit for it. So when the allegations first broke about, do you remember when it broke? For 3 days, no one knew who it was, in theory, although a picture of Huw Edwards' arse was doing the rounds.
Yes.
So it's like we all know who it is.
Oh, God.
And also, I mean, but what you just did there, oh, God, that was my instinct.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor bastard. It's like my dad hasn't worked out how to use his phone, and it's just, you know what I mean? He just doesn't really know how it works.
Yeah.
But I found let's just for a moment live in a world where Huw Edwards did nothing illegal, right? So let's imagine what we knew at the time. And what became fairly clear was Huw Edwards likes to go on Grindr, likes to have people round and have sex with them, probably younger than him, which is sort of fairly normal in the gay world, right? Whereas, weirdly, if he'd have been doing that with 19-year-old girls, you'd go, now that is far more of potentially an abuse of power than some twinks on Grindr going, I'm looking for a big fat daddy this evening, right? Because that's sort of part of that trend,
Do you remember that Milo talking about that? Milo?
Yeah.
That was his cancel. That was at the end of it.
Really?
But he's come back. I'll get back to your...
Yeah, what the fuck happened to him? He was everywhere and then just gone,
He's back all over Twitter, and he's now straight.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Yeah. It's bonkers.
Anyway, as far as I was concerned, it was fairly clear that Huw Edwards had done nothing. To me, it was clear that he'd done nothing illegal. Morally, you could argue that that's not a very nice way to treat your wife. But
it's not about business.
But it's none of anybody's business what people get up to behind closed doors, as long as it is consensual and legal, etc. It didn't age well, shall we say? In a month or two later, or it might have even been 3 or 4 months later, it became really clear that he had been. Not only did he have some really horrible pictures on his phone, but I think it became clear that there was a behaviour of an abusive behaviour that had, and weirdly writing the thing for the BBC, chatting to a lot of people in the BBC, and a lot of people at the BBC were just like it's. They felt ashamed, really. I mean, he obviously it's not a victimless crime, but he let a huge amount of people down. But basically, I now get pedo apologist all the time on Twitter, and there is something this time round where you go, you've kind of got me, because there is a video of me going, poor Huw Edwards, what you get up to.
Yeah, but you weren't going, poor Huw Edwards, because of what you did with those kids, and I agree with that.
Yes, exactly.
You were saying, I doubt he did it.
It wasn't even. It wasn't even that. By that point, there was no. The police had said, "We've had a look. There is absolutely no reason to believe he's done anything wrong." And at the time I did this video, at that point he was in a mental hospital. He'd been sectioned, and there was no real suggestion at the time that he'd done anything wrong. But what I suppose I did do is I put my head above the parapet before all the facts were in. And I kind of regret that, but I'm not a pedo apologist, because the idea that I would have found out what he did and then go, actually, I think what you get up to behind closed doors, even if it is with kids, that's not what I was doing. But again, I think that was one of those things. Had that happened slightly earlier in my pie career, it would have been, oh my God, tearing my hair out. That's me gone. I'm cancelled. It's over. And actually just let's ride the storm for a couple of days. And also in this case, just put my hands up and go, yeah, I totally fucking, like I say, I spoke before all the facts were in. But the point still stands that if he hadn't have committed a crime, what you get up to behind closed doors is no one's business. And who you choose to sleep with is nobody's fucking business. There's this really weird thing because I trained to be an actor and I kind of wanted to be an actor, but this sort of authenticity argument about, how a gay person can't be played by a straight person, which to me seems like a complete misunderstanding of what acting is.
That's mad. This is what I mean when I say that you don't seem to be on that woke side at all, and you seem to be on side with a lot of the guests on this. Most of them are gay anyway. They're all gay.
Yeah.
I noticed yesterday all my guests are gay. Like 90% of them.
Well, you're an attractive bloke, Andrew.
Well, that's what it is. I can't get straight people on. Not straight men anyway. But yeah, go on, sorry.
What the fuck was I talking about?
Nonsense.
Yeah, absolute bollocks. But it was something to do with authenticity.
Gay people acting as not gay and authenticity.
How did we get to that?
I jumped in there.
Totally. I might remember it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Message me later.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah. I think I was saying that people think, this is where people say that, I don't think you're very different to, Andrew Doyle or a lot of the people on this show. I mean.
I don't know. I imagine my voting record is different to a lot of the people you've had on here.
No one cares about that anymore.
No. But that's what I find interesting when I get attacked by the left, and it's sort of one of my little things. You do realise that we vote exactly the same fucking way.
They don't care.
They don't care, do they?
They care that you might not say trans women are literally biologically women.
Yeah, they would care.
91% watching Heretics clips are not subscribed. Quick favour, hit subscribe. Free, takes 2 seconds, and helps us question everything together.